Welcome back to Caffeine Confessionals. I am making this video today because I recently put out a video where I ranked the top 10 rookie seasons in challenge history. If you have not seen it yet, check it out. In that video, I made the conscious effort to leave off rookie seasons from fresh meat players, as I believe they vary from the classic rookie seasons of the challenge in so many different ways, and also I can easily rattle off a top 10 fresh meat rookie seasons all-time list, and that is what you'll be getting in this video today. Before we jump into the rankings themselves, I have a few key notes. First off, we are counting both Battle of the Bloodlines and War of the Worlds 1 as fresh meat seasons, as they both partner a rookie with a veteran. We are not counting rookie players like Cory Warden on Bloodlines, Wes on Fresh Meat 1, CJ on Fresh Meat 2, as they went on the top 10 rookie seasons list. And lastly, the main reason we separate rookie seasons from fresh meat seasons is that the fresh meat players just don't have the same problems that a normal challenge rookie has. At the same time, some of these fresh meat players came in with the baggage of their partners from existing rivalries and relationships and had to overcome those struggles. Let's get into the list now. To kick off our rankings, we have the legend herself, Miss Diem Brown, and her 4th place finish on Fresh Meat 1. From a game standpoint, Diem really stood out by winning 3 daily challenges alongside Derrick and really showing a prowess for the political game, in which she was willing to make big moves when other players weren't. Everyone was just throwing Wes into elimination after elimination. Diem saw this as her opportunity to take out their biggest threats for a final. She saw that Shane and Lynette were winning daily challenges, so she threw them in elimination. She saw Darrell as a threat in the final, so she tried to put him against Theo and Shonda. They were able to get Theo and Shonda out, and then in the end, they lose that final daily challenge and that final elimination, and they come up short, but Diem was willing to pull off big plays that others weren't. You could legitimately make the argument that the challenge's political landscape would not have evolved into what it is today without Diem's Fresh Meat 1 season. Aside from the game itself, Diem was an inspiration to us all, as while she was competing on the challenge, she was preparing herself mentally to take on a battle with cancer. She is a legend. Rest in peace, Diem. In 9th place, we have Mitch Reid's 2nd place finish on Battle of the Bloodlines, where he proved to be one of the top puzzle performers in challenge history. Mitch competed on Bloodlines alongside his cousin Cory, and most people's thoughts when watching him were, who is this dork? Is he actually related to Cory? And I can't believe this guy is still in the game. As time went on, Mitch proved to be a solid competitor physically. He pulled out one of the most hilarious elimination wins all time against Rafi Medrano, and when playing as a pair, he and Cory won 2 out of 4 daily challenges. But as mentioned, Mitch really shined in the puzzles, and that was most notable in the second to last daily challenge of the season. While competing in a mini final, Cory's ACL injury held their duo back, and they trailed all other teams by close to an hour. By the time they got to the final puzzle portion that all the teams have been working on for 30 to 40 minutes, Mitch solved the puzzle in about 10 seconds and won the daily challenge for their team. In doing so, Mitch and Cory were able to pit the 2 strongest teams, Bananas and Vince and Cara and Jamie, in elimination against one another, a move that Diem Brown would be super proud of. In the actual final, Cory's ACL injury continued to set their team back, but every time Mitch hit a puzzle, he solved it really quick and helped them catch up ground. In the last portion of the final, Mitch destroyed a puzzle that gave Cory and Mitch a 20 to 30 minute lead in one portion that propelled them into 2nd place and had them within striking distance of beating Cara, Maria, and Jamie. Without Mitch, Cory comes in dead last, just like he did on Invasion of the Champions. With Mitch, he came close to winning. All of Mitch's challenge achievements are made even better knowing that whenever they went to the nightclub in Turkey, he would get drunk and fall asleep in the club. A hilariously awesome season from someone we never expected. Next up, in 8th place, we have the winner of Fresh Meat 2, Miss Carley Johnson. I know when people first see Carley on this list, their immediate response is going to be, oh, Carley was carried by Landon, she would never have won without Landon. And they are absolutely correct. Carley would not have won Fresh Meat 2 without Landon. Yet, as time passes, there are all these challenge competitors who we recognize as being strong, elite competitors who have time and time again disappointed their partners, teams, or themselves in crucial eliminations or finals. You know who never disappointed their partner and was always able to keep on pushing past their physical limitations when going up against actual elite competition? Miss Carley Johnson. I will admit, for a long time, I personally underrated Carley. I saw her as a liability who got carried to a win. However, an actual liability is someone who would just quit on a partner like we saw recently with Fessy on Double Agents. Carley was the final pick of the Fresh Meat 2 draft and was unable to climb the wall just like Casey Cooper. But she continued to try her hardest in the daily challenges. Her and Landon were able to pull off one of the only daily challenge wins of the season early into the game that Laurel and Kenny did not pull off. Her and Landon went on to win 2 eliminations, including an epic nighttime battle against Evelyn and Luke, where they set the record for the fastest time of any team in that elimination, again in the dark. And while Landon definitely compensated for her weaknesses, she still had to keep up with and then later outpace strong teams in Laurel and Kenny, Jen and Noor, and Pete and Jill. Carley being the female champion of this season is especially impressive when you look at the cast. Laurel Stucky, Evelyn Smith, Paula Marinick, Sarah Rice, Cara Maria Cerbello, Teresa Gonzalez, Jillian Soborowski, Jen Grijalva. You have 8 women who I believe are in the top 25 females in challenge history, and Carley is the winner. I know they all were in their prime, but still, that is an impressive achievement. And remember, we're talking about who had the best seasons, not who is the best player. Carley deserves number 8 on this list. In 7th place, we have the notorious cousin, one half of the Battle of the Bloodlines champions, Mr. Jamie Banks. As a physical competitor, Jamie did really solid. When partnered with Cara Maria, they won 1 out of 4 daily challenges and a combined 3 eliminations, one of which Jamie won solo against Mike Boys, and the other he won while partnered with Cara Maria against Johnny Bananas and Vince. What I find personally impressive about Jamie's season is how emotionally supportive he is towards Cara the entire game. He plays the role of a perfect partner in that he lets the veteran take the lead in the challenges, but is strong when he needs to be. Jamie also proved to be maybe the greatest eater in challenge history. During a bug eating daily challenge, the only challenge that him and Cara won, he out-ate both Tony Reigns and Vince Gliata. Those are 2 of the best eaters in challenge history, and he housed both of them. And in the actual final, while Jenna and her cousin were struggling to drink a single bowl of soup and Cory and Mitch were puking all over the place, Jamie housed not only his portion of food, but then went on to eat some of Cara's food. Jamie's mouth literally gave them a 30-minute to 1-hour difference in only one portion of the final. Without his stomach, maybe they don't win that challenge championship. We might as well go 3 in a row for champions. In 6th place, we have the winner of Fresh Meat 1, Aviv Melmed. Now, Aviv is one of the more invisible winners in challenge history. 1/3 of her total confessionals for the entire season came in the finale episode. Due to Aviv being a one-and-done challenge competitor with an invisible edit and a legendary partner in Darrell, most people assume that she was carried to a win similar to Carley on Fresh Meat 2 by Landon. That could not be further from the truth. While Darrell's social game did allow them to coast through most of the season, the actual reason why they won was because of Aviv's puzzle-solving ability. Despite a small sample size, Aviv has a legitimate claim to maybe be the best puzzle solver in challenge history. Before the season, all the Fresh Meat players competed in a combine. In one portion, they had to solve a logic puzzle as fast as they could. The average competitor time for this competition was 6 minutes and 14 seconds. Aviv solved her puzzle in 3 seconds flat. Not 1 minute and 3 seconds, not 2 minutes and 3 seconds, 3 seconds. The next fastest player solved their puzzle in 15 seconds, which is technically 5 times slower than Aviv. In their elimination with Derrick and Diem before the final, it was Aviv's puzzle solving that allowed them to coast to victory. In the actual final, because Aviv could solve puzzles and no other team could, they got to carry significantly less weight. You could make the argument that Aviv could have won this final with either Kenny or Wes. You can't make the same argument for Darrell winning it with Tina or Casey. As an athlete, Aviv was physically fit as a member of the Israeli Air Force. She had a great one and done season and is a better competitor than you probably remember. In 5th place, we have someone I'm not too fond of, but he had a remarkably impressive rookie season, and that is Evan Starkman on Fresh Meat 1. Evan was the #1 male in the Fresh Meat draft picked by challenge icon Coral. Together, Evan and Coral put on one of the most dominant opening stretches in challenge history. They won 5 out of the first 6 daily challenges and probably could have won the 6th, but they decided to throw it to make them seem less threatening to all the other teams. Their dominant reign in daily challenges came to an end after Evan came down with a hernia. Somehow, even after the hernia, Coral and Evan still managed to be an average to above average pair. Ultimately and ironically, their season came to an end after Coral got a knee injury of her own. Throughout the history of partnered seasons, there have been strong elite duos who didn't even sniff 5 daily challenge wins. Evan and Coral won 5 out of the first 6, and because of that, Evan deserves this number 5 spot on the list. Apologies if the next 3 are way too predictable, as they are all from War of the Worlds 1. In 4th place, we have the highest finishing female from War of the Worlds 1 and the 4th place overall finisher in the final, Ninja Natalie Duran. While Ninja was not a fan favorite by any stretch of the imagination, she set the tone at the beginning of the game by winning the opening purge, picking Polly as her partner, proceeding to win 3 out of 8 daily challenges, and an elimination against Cam Williams and Ashley Kane. Once the game became individual, Ninja was able to navigate her way to the final, in which she put up a stellar performance. As a rookie taking on the hardest final in challenge history, Ninja was able to outpace 2-time challenge champion Cara Maria. She also had to deal with an elimination in the middle of the night where she took out Hunter Barfield. As much as some of her actions irked me at times, Ninja won 5 daily challenges, which tied for the most of any female that season, was the top finishing female overall amongst a stacked female War of the Worlds cast, and put up 2 elimination wins. That's a great season by any mark. In 3rd place is someone I seriously contemplated putting in 2nd or even 1st place, but ultimately chickened out. Theo Campbell, the 2nd place finisher of War of the Worlds 1. As a 6'5" professional track and field athlete, the expectations for Theo were very high and he more than delivered. With the 3rd overall pick in the draft, Theo made one of the smartest choices you can do by picking Cara Maria, a multi-time champion, as his partner. He proved to be savvy politically by forming an alliance with Ashley Kane, Stephen Bear, and Georgia Harrison, his UK fellows. During his partnership with Cara Maria, they went on to tie for the most tribunal wins all season, going 4 for 8, most of which in the most intense physical daily challenges. They were also never called out for elimination due to Theo's allegiances and because people were terrified of him and Cara. When the game became individual, Theo won the first male immunity challenge, came up short in the second one, and then had to face Kyle in a Hall Brawl. In an epic battle after losing the first round, Theo rallied back to win the elimination. Theo's perseverance and ability to learn from his mistakes is maybe my favorite quality about him. I noticed in his first daily challenge that included heights, he was a bit nervous. He didn't jump off the platform immediately like most players would, but as time went on, he kept improving and improving, whether it be in swimming and puzzles. The guy was already a top contender regardless of improvement, but he just kept getting better and better. And apologies if I'm going to repeat this, but in the hardest final in challenge history, Theo kicked butt. He won day 1, beating West by 10 minutes and beating Turbo by 20 minutes. When it came to just cardiovascular skill, Theo put up the best performance of anyone in that final. Sadly, what it came down to was he had to eat some extra food and his mathematical abilities were lacking. Even though Turbo and Ninja ranked higher than Theo, I can't help but feeling that Theo had the biggest impact out of all of them on the show. I'm really sad that he had a freak eye injury in recent years because he was well on his way to becoming one of the best challengers ever in the history of the show. Before we reveal the final 2, let's throw out some honorable mentions. Casey Cooper's 3rd place finish, where she technically won 5 eliminations on Fresh Meat 1. Kenny Santucci, Fresh Meat 1, 2nd place finish. Pete Connolly, 3rd place finish on Fresh Meat 2. Noor Jahangir, 4th place finish on Fresh Meat 2. Brianna Julich, 3rd place on Battle of the Bloodlines. Maddie Lynn Brew and Georgia Harrison making it to the final of War of the Worlds 1. And now on to first and second place. I kept switching these two players back and forth because I wholeheartedly believe that both of them deserve the #1 ranking on this list. And because of that, I will be stating the argument for both players as to why they had the best fresh meat rookie season in challenge history, to which I want you to comment on who deserves the #1 ranking. For the first of the two players who deserve the #1 spot, we have Turbo to Robbie Kamkirian winning War of the Worlds 1. As you know from this video and some of my previous videos, I have a high regard for War of the Worlds 1 as it has a heavily stacked cast and statistically is the hardest season to win in challenge history, on top of just watching it and knowing that they competed in the hardest final ever. For a quick run through, Turbo won 3 out of 8 daily challenges in the partner phase with Nani. He then proceeded to have immunity throughout the entire individual run for all male eliminations, and then of course won the final itself. Arguably, Turbo played a flawless game because he never went into elimination, had immunity for a majority of the game, and then won the final. So I don't know how you could have a better rookie season than that. You almost have to be crazy or an idiot to rank someone above Turbo's rookie season, and yet I might be crazy or an idiot because I'm about to talk about the other person who deserves the #1 spot, Miss Laurel Stucky on Fresh Meat 2. I know fans are going to be quick to chime in and say, Laurel didn't even win her season. How can she be the best rookie if she didn't even win? And to that, my immediate reply is they are somewhat right, but they also underrate how much luck is a factor on the challenge. On Fresh Meat 2, Laurel ended up in a bad situation from day one. Her partner, Kenny Santucci, had a long-standing rivalry with Wes Bergman, to which Wes came into the season with a massive 8-team alliance. With there being a house vote in play, Kenny and Laurel would have to win every single daily challenge to ensure their safety. And while many people regard Kenny as a top player, if you look at his stats, when competing as a pair or an individual, Kenny is actually a below average daily challenge competitor. Seriously, rewatch Rivals 1, Kenny brings down Wes in almost every single daily challenge. So with a massive alliance at their throat, what does Laurel do? She proceeds to win 5 out of the 6 first daily challenges with Kenny. Literally, the entire house is trying to win a daily challenge just so they could vote Laurel in, but because Laurel was so good and so dominant, they could not. And the one daily challenge they lost, in which they came in second place, they got thrown into elimination, had to face Sarah Rice, a top female competitor, and dusted her in elimination, and even cursed out Kenny in the process to make him go faster so they could win. If Kenny had any partner other than Laurel, he would have been out within the first few weeks. Because of Laurel, they were able to single-handedly pick apart Wes's massive alliance. It is one thing to consistently win elimination after elimination where you're going one-on-one against an opponent, but to win daily challenges when you're going 1 against 11, 1 against 12, and to consistently dominate like they did is unparalleled. A true sign of how dominant and strong of a player that Laurel is that whenever she loses, people are quick to harp on her and to chastise her, when in reality, she constantly overcomes the odds when put into bad luck situations. She had the player with the most enemies on this rookie season, and they went from the bottom to a place of power. But because Laurel herself is such a monolith, they expect her to be there anyway. And again, luck matters. Landon had to put up the greatest final performance ever to defeat Kenny and Laurel on Fresh Meat 2. You rewind that season 1,000 times, Kenny and Laurel probably win 900 times because of Laurel. And then you look at someone like Turbo, where if he doesn't get Nani as a partner and he gets someone who puts a big target on him from the jump, maybe he gets taken out way earlier in the game. Little things like that can change a challenge season dramatically. And I think when it comes down to it all, Laurel and Turbo physically put up the 2 best rookie seasons in challenge history. Comment on who you think had the better season. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day. Subscribe to the channel. Drop a like. Have a great day again.